Blissfully unaware of the panic going on around Capsule Corp at this time, the three Super Saiyans were just about ready to exit the Room of Spirit in time. After just 1 year, Raditz and Kakarot using up their quota of 2 years before the time chamber became unavailable to them, they had progressed exponentially. Bulla thankfully indeed surpassed Grade 3 Super Saiyan and would never use it again, and reached the mastered state of Grade 4. Full power Super Saiyan. She would exit in this form so as to give her even more experience in it, and ensure that when she went home, she would be unstoppable. On their last night inside, the trio were reflecting on their training. Kakarot was pleased to have seen out a whole year in here with no upsets or fallbacks or emotional upheaval or anything like that. He even joked about it. Hey bro, you got any skeletons that you want to let out of the closet?
Oh, can it you? That was a big deal for me. But no, I got none. Anyone else want to share?
All three were pretty chill and simply gazed out to the recently acquired simulated sunset. Kakarot's idea, by the way. You see, he made a ball of ki to float like a sun so as to try and mimic day and night cycles. They slept better that way, and was satisfied with their progression over the last 12 months. Bulla felt accomplished and ready to fight for her future in the morning. Papa, I can't thank you enough for this experience. This has been the best year of my life. Raditz didn't get the schmaltz.
To be fair, for you, I mean, it's not exactly a high bar or anything.
Bulla looked past the less than tactful remark about her future and gazed toward the setting sun. When I get back, I promise to make use of our chamber, if it's still there, and get Super Saiyan 2 too. Raditz looked to her and suggested that maybe they find a way to Namek if they can to find a new Guardian, because Namekian Guardians would be good for them, and get some new Dragon Balls to restore as much of their world as possible.
Once you've done that, well, you're golden.
But Papa, she pointed to her hair, I already am golden. They let out a belly laugh at that little pun, and they were very much glad to be cut from the same cloth. The next morning, the trio were ready to head out. They exited the chamber and breathed in the crisp, cold air of the upper atmosphere. But this serenity wouldn't last. Not long after they took that first breath out of the chamber, a terrible wave of bizarre energy washed over them all. What was this? Raditz clenched his fist.
What the? It can't be! We destroyed that mad scientist and his goon!
Kakarot shook his head. No, bro, this ain't them. We couldn't sense those two, remember? This is something different. Kami confirmed this as he approached them.
Indeed. This creature has only just made itself known in the last few hours. I would have brought you out of the time chamber sooner, but I didn't wish to disturb you. Quite frankly, I thought it the best that you remained in there and got as strong as possible. This beast has to be stopped quickly. It has already killed thousands of poor souls down there.
The three looked to each other, and Raditz immediately pulled out his communicator to check in on Bulma.
Bulma, come in! Are you hurt?
About time you showed up. Oh, you already know?
Well, I know something bad is going on, but, what's the bad thing that you're going through?
No time to explain, but I think you might be right. My new friend 16 is about to speak. Hear him out.
Bulma handed the communicator to the giant robot, who nodded in thanks.
My name is Android 16. Originally, Dr. Gero programmed me to kill you. Raditz.
Raditz scoffed. I hope you saw sense, you tin can. 16 didn't get the jibe.
My body contains 0% tin, so your remark is erroneous.
Raditz rolled his eyes. Just tell us what you know.
My scanners have detected androids 17 and 18 heading toward Dr. Gero's laboratory. You must intercept with haste.
Kakarot looked concerned. What's the rush?
The creature in question is a beast known as Cell, Dr. Gero's greatest creation. With those pods in hand, Cell has the ability to become the strongest being on the planet, and will not hesitate in destroying it mercilessly.
Okay, so the Doctor had a backup plan after all, but wait, something didn't add up.
I destroyed the lab! There's nothing left to be had there!
Spluttered out Raditz.
What could be left?
16 replied.
There is a hidden laboratory located below ground level. Now go.
Damn it! I thought I got all of it!
Kakarot smirked.
Well, now's your chance to do so, bro. Let's go clear things up. With our new powers, I wouldn't worry. We'll make light work of this. Gero definitely doesn't know about our new Super Saiyan.
Raditz felt a little better after hearing that.
True. That's very true. So, you want to tag along for this, Bulla? Won't take long.
She shrugged.
Sure. May as well test out this new strength before I head out.
Keen to have the element of surprise, The group hid their energies and moved back toward North City and the location of the crater that was once Jiro's main laboratory. At said location, a very monstrous being made itself known. It was desperately burrowing down into the base, its quarry right by the hole. Cell jumped out when he was done, and was pleased to see that the sublab had survived whatever had ravaged the upper levels here.
At last, I shall find a way to awaken my siblings and become perfect.
Alas, Cell had his prize, but he didn't know how to turn the pods on and open them. That eluded him. Sure, he was an ace scavenger, but he wasn't overly furnished in the brain department when it came to complex technology, despite being part mechanical. But no matter, surely the lab down there had some kind of gizmo that could do what he wanted for him. When Cell emerged from the hole at the bottom that he had dug, he gazed upon the laboratory and that. He put the pods down and walked toward the watery container. His eyes were transfixed on the small entity within, floating within the uterine fluid, providing it the nutrition in which to gestate in peace for the next 20 years. Cell never expected to see himself like this. He'd completely forgotten there was a version of himself here. He placed his hand on the glass surround and smiled. Well, as much as he could smile with that beak of his.
You may be surplus to requirements in the eyes of the doctor, but you are still my flesh and blood. One day, you and I will rule this pathetic dirtball. Then we shall travel to other dimensions and wreak havoc there. Build an army of us as one. He dropped his hand and started to look around for some kind of information as to open the two pods. And hey, if he was unable to do so, then he could just bivouac down here for a couple of decades, go back into his larval state, and wait for the other one to open. Then there'd be two of them. Up in the sky, the trio saw the freshly burrowed hole amongst the rubble. Raditz kept his communicator to Bulma open so Bulma could hear what was going on throughout the entire proceedings. She was personally invested in ensuring that 17 and 18's pods were retrieved safely. Be careful, you three. Don't let your Saiyan pride get in the way of the job in hand, alright? Raditz and Kakarot nodded, but Future Bulla remained silent. The Saiyan brothers hadn't noticed this since they were fired up to face the Cell creature and make sure the pods returned to Capsule Corp in one piece. At once, the trio descended into the hole and unleashed their energies to spook the creature out of hiding. Cell wheeled around in time to witness the three Saiyans emerging, one already in Super Saiyan, that's Future Bulla, staring back at him. This cannot be! How did you find me so easily?
Kakarot scoffed.
You let your guard down. You were so preoccupied with stealing those pods that you forgot that you emitted energy, that the other one that you left behind could lead us to you as well.
Cell cursed.
Damn, 16. How dare it betray me like this? But let's not be so hasty. If you already know who I am, then you must understand that I am part you. I have Saiyan DNA coursing through me. Therefore, I gather that you like the thought of a challenge. To be rid of me now, a new foe would be such a crying shame, wouldn't it? You wouldn't get to fight me at my full potential. Why waste that chance?
Cell smirked, but Raditz walked forward unconvinced.
Please, if you claim to be part us, then you would know that we don't take chances anymore. We have grown beyond our instincts. Why would we fight you when we know that there's an easier way out? We may be Saiyan, but we're not blind to logic.
Cell was getting angry. His chance to become perfect was slipping away from his grasp. As Raditz and Kakarot were walking towards Cell, Future Bulla made a move. She tore at breakneck speed around the three of them to the pods and stood in between them, looking seriously back at the others. Raditz just assumed that she got there as insurance to hold the pods to hostage and make Cell comply, and smirked.
Good work, Bulla. Now get them to safety. We'll squash this bug and be home in time for—
Bulla then just simply smashed the pod's computer terminals. Kakarot exclaimed,
Bulla! What the—
Without flinching, Bulla powered up to Super Saiyan Grade 2 and double Sundayed the pods into oblivion. Bulma frantically asked what was going on. She couldn't see what was happening, having heard the explosion. Raditz stammered a reply.
She destroyed the pods!
She what?
16 from afar heard the news and bowed his head in silence. Back at the action, Future Bulla was remorseless in her action. Cell turned fully to face her.
How dare you? How dare you take away my chance to become perfect!
Bulla's now turquoise eyes stared coldly back at Cell.
Now this time I will never have to suffer about as much as you're about to suffer.
Bulla surged forward and slammed Cell into the wall on the opposite side of the lab. It created a 20-foot deep hole in said wall, and the creature was considerably damaged from just one single knockdown. His survival instincts kicking in, the Bugman knew that he had little chance of victory at this time, especially since his ticket to perfection had, well, been wiped from the face of the earth. But a chance came from an unlikely pair of people. Before Bulla could continue her beatdown of Cell, Raditz and Kakarot roared her name out loud. She turned around, looking puzzled at them.
What? Can't you tell I'm kind of busy here beating down a bug?
The brothers weren't relaxed, nor happy. Not at all. They were glowering at Bulla, an expression she had never seen from them before, and it greatly unnerved her.
What's the matter?
Raditz spoke first.
Those two didn't deserve to die like that. Defenseless and powerless. They had done nothing wrong, and you killed them.
Bulla's eyes widened.
You can't be serious.
Papa, these androids were programmed to kill indiscriminately. I saved countless lives right now from certain death. Don't you get it?
Raditz shook his head in pity. Kakarot continued.
Bulma could easily turn them good, or better yet, restore their humanity, and they need never know that they were androids. Give them their lives back. All we needed was time to figure it out, and you took it all away. You made the call too soon, without asking. Just because your timeline's androids were evil doesn't mean that these ones would have gone down the same path.
Bulla was getting frustrated and even a little teary.
I was trying to be shrewd and forward-thinking like you, Papa. Head things off at the pass. Stop these things before they happen like you did. Why am I being berated for something that you did yourself?
Gero had already committed heinous atrocities to humankind long before you came here. Terrible acts of cruelty in the name of the Red Ribbon Army, in the pursuit of his deluded fantasies. He had already condemned himself to his fate. Those two, however, had not committed any crimes. In fact, according to Bulma's research, they were resistant to Gero's order. That's why they were in there in the first place. Had they been let out on their own accord, they could have refused to obey his orders and perhaps be a force for good, or at least not get in our way. But now, we'll never know, thanks to your desperation!
Bulla was getting angry and so ignored her father.
Whatever. As far as I'm concerned, the only good android is the dead one.
As the three of them were distracted with this argument, Cell used this chance to burrow his way away from oblivion. Thanks to the hole he had found himself in, he simply plowed in the opposite direction of the lab, implementing all his instincts to lick his wounds and regroup. Minutes later, Bulla whipped around, forgetting about Cell, and she couldn't sense his energy anymore. She screamed.
Now look what you've done! You let Cell get away while you were arguing with me!
She was cradling her head in fury,
livid at being told off like this and now letting their enemy get away.
Right now, despite their power advantage, they had still lost the battle. Now Cell had been exposed. Finding him again was not going to be easy. Raditz sighed internally. Oh, great. This was starting to feel like the time he and Kakarot had soured their relationship back in the day, but the stakes here were a lot higher than back then.
I'm sorry, Bulla, but we can't argue any longer. We need to find Cell fast before he kills any more people. He's going to find a way to get stronger somehow, and we have to be ready for it.
Bulla was fed up with all of this, being told what to do.
That's your problem. I've done my bit. I'm going home.
Like hell you are. You killed 2 innocent victims of Gero's experiments. But I don't care what your iterations did. Our ones did nothing. And until you help finish Cell, your time machine is under lockdown. You ain't going anywhere.
Bulma shrieked, and her future daughter was shocked.
My God, I can't believe you've done this.
Raditz was unmoved.
Oh please, enough of the dramatics. All you have to do is clear up your mess and you can go.
Kakarot and Raditz walked past Bulla without a word. The brothers were internally lamenting being so cruel to Bulla, but she had to learn from her actions that they had consequences. And as the three of them exited the lab, they were completely unaware of what was cooking in the green tube. Thanks to all of the upheaval, it had gone unnoticed. Back at Capsule Corp, 16 stepped toward Bulma and spoke for the first time since the action began.
I forgive her.
You what?
16 looked down seriously at the engineer.
I forgive your future daughter. I do not harbor anger toward her, as I am incapable of such emotion. but I do mourn the loss of 17 and 18. However, to Earth, Cell is a greater priority. If he is allowed to roam free, absorbing the essence of others, then Earth will be in great danger. I promise to aid in its destruction, Dr. Bulma.
Well, what can you do? 16 held his chest.
That is classified information, but I assure you, I will not use it on your friends. Only Cell.
Bulma nodded and thanked 16 for his help. But right now, the camaraderie of the group was at a low point. Despite their power, they had let Cell get away. Now they had to find him as quickly as possible, before others got hurt. But with Cell now in survival mode, that would become an almost impossible feat, regardless of their battle power. And that's where we're going to be leaving things for right now.